La la la. La la la. Hello. We're back. Guess who needs a tech person? Me. Welcome back, people. Hopefully you are joining us for the second part of today's webinar, the practical bit. So first we had the beautiful story from Chanel. If you haven't checked that out, I will send you a replay, or you might want to check that out on #TrainingThursday. This is part 2, the practical side of money. So who here is triggered by the idea that they would have to track their money? Who, like me, and put a like on the Facebook page. If you are watching the webinar on replay, send me an email. You know, that I love hearing about the shift and the change that can be made when it comes to tracking money. Now, if you were like me, back in the first 18 months of my practice, you have a shoebox or a file, like inside a filing cabinet, that you never ever open, and you just dump stuff in there. And you are completely, would much rather ignore the fact that there is anything to do with money in your business, and you just want to help as many people as possible. And at tax time, you want to close your eyes and pretend that tax doesn't exist as well. Who feels like that? Put a like, put a like, put a like. I want it, or a thumbs up, because I also want to know I'm not the only person that feels like that. So that's how it was for me in the first 18 months. So by the time tax time came around, after 2 financial years, I had so much stuff to deal with. It was crazy. So it wasn't just about the stuff where I was scared I would owe tax. You know, that meant that I had to find some more money. It was also that I didn't know about the money coming in. And the beauty of the things that I've learned from people like Denise Duffield-Thomas, who's one of my really good friends, we catch up every week, is that the money coming in is something that we ignore just as much as money going out. And tracking the positives creates a positive mindset. It doesn't negate the fact that there is money going out, but if you are tracking the positives, if you're tracking all of the money coming in, you start to look at the world through a lens of money just flows into my life. So if you have registered for the webinar, you will have received an email that has the free money tracker and free money planner specifically for this conversation to consider. And I am going to share with you the tracker. Now, one of the things that Chanel just discussed, hopefully this is able to be seen on here. One of the things that Chanel just discussed was one of her game-changing moments. Number one, her game-changing moment was to recognize the fear that she had around money and start talking about it and then move through it. The second thing was around tracking. So tracking is really important because we don't know about the data. We don't know about what's actually happening if we haven't tracked it. Now, again, we see this all the time with our clients. Remember, if you just change the H in health to a W in wealth, we do this for our clients all the time. The first time they visit, we get them to, well, hopefully, this is the way I ran my practice, I get them to describe their 5 major concerns, their symptoms, their concerns, their emotional, mental, physical, all of those. They're 5 major ones, and how it affects them out of 10. So how much energy do you have? Oh, 1 out of 10. Sometimes it goes up to 3 out of 10. How much is stress part of your life? Oh, it's this out of 10. How much are you happy with your weight? Yeah, 1 out of 10. And then the next visit, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, okay, so from those changes that we made, how are you feeling out of 10? Oh, I feel this out of 10. Okay, and how is your sleep? Great. How's your energy? Oh, it's up to 5 out of 10. 3 months later, and we've been tracking it consistently, and they come in and go, oh, well, I don't think it's changed very much. And you can look back. Who has those clients, actually? Who has those clients that they've come a couple of times or multiple months, and then they forget? You know, we're human beings. We forget. We get this new zero. And, you know, the ones that come in and they were a 1 out of 10, they were exhausted, they were tired all the time, they would complain about it all the time. And then 3 months later, they're whinging about some little scrape on their finger and completely forgot the fact that they couldn't even wake up in the morning, that they were psychopaths just before their periods, that they had different things happening for them. Who's had that? So, and then you ask them, okay, so how's your energy? Oh, it's fine. It's always been fine. Well, actually, 3 months ago when you were here, you were 1 out of 10, and now you're here and you're 10 out of 10. So the same thing happens with us when it comes to wealth. We ignore the fact that we get given gift cards. Did you know that gift cards are real money because you can buy things with them? And it's a $7 billion mistake that Australians make every year. $7 billion goes down the toilet in gift cards that are unused. Isn't that incredible? So where else are we forgetting that we've got money coming in? So this is part of shifting your mindset around money, starting to see with the lens that money does come into your life. It may not come in the way that you think initially as a practitioner. It might not come in with all the initial consultations you want, but there is money coming into your life. And once you start to notice it and give an awareness to it and then send energy to it, it starts coming back around. And then you start to see it with your clients, then you start to see it with your business. But if you don't recognize it in the beginning, now Joel had an amazing thing to say about this earlier this week in the Naturpreneur Hub. And what's our relationship like with money? If we ignore the fact that we've got gift cards coming in, if we ignore the fact that we're getting given gift certificates for Christmas that are worth X amount, that there is money in our PayPal account, that's real money, people. But we just pretend that it's not. If we've got this relationship with money that, you're not really real, you know, you're my pseudo boyfriend, you're my pseudo best friend, you know, it's not really real, then imagine what it's like from an energetic perspective, what money can do for you in return, if you're not just like real friends. So by tracking the money that comes in, that's what this first template is around, tracking the money that comes in. And on each month, I've put, say, $10,000 because that's, you know, it's just a number that came out of thin air, to be honest. But if you're, say, wanting to have those $1,000 weeks, maybe the number is the $4,000 mark. And you might have $4,000 as your tally for each of these months. And then each day, you just write down the money that comes into your life. If you stumbled across a $5 note inside your laundry as you were doing stuff for the kids, $5 goes down. If you sold some type of supplement, that comes in. If you sold something on Etsy or PayPal, that goes in. If you got given a gift certificate, that goes in. If you got given a gift card, all of those things. If you found a gift card that you'd forgotten about, that all goes in. And you start to look at the world through the lens of abundance and attracting money. And then you start to notice where more money can come in and where that flow is happening. So this is a game changer for me when it feels like, but no money's coming into my life. It feels like, but I can't make any money. When those moments are there, and we're talking about that relationship with money that Joel beautifully pointed out. Somebody else pointed it out as well. Michelle Dager, she also mentioned that relationship that we have with money, like it has a sentience. If we're talking to it in our heads, in a really negative context and we're repelling it away, essentially, then how on earth is it going to be attracted to us? So this first money tracker is all about that. How can you start to, and honestly, I've done this, I whenever I do this, I generally get a bit bored with it. But if you do it just for 1 month, not the whole year, but the whole year could amplify it to, I don't know what it could because I've never done it for 12 months. But I've done it for 1 month before. And oh my goodness, you just start noticing where it all comes from. It's incredible. So, Louise, yes, hidden stuff. It takes time. Christina, beautiful. Kath, do I also include when my partner buys me groceries? Yes, absolutely. That wouldn't have come into your world unless you were attracting it. You're attracting wealth through those means. So, you start to write that down. You start to notice these things when they come in. And you'll start to notice, now I did this one month when I moved from, I was in a 1-room office and in a shared office space. And then I moved and we made the multimodality clinic that I ended up having. And when I moved, what I was doing, I was tracking the money for 1 month before I went because I had that feeling again of, but I can't make any money. All the fears came up when moving to this bigger space. So I got back to it and I started the template again. And that's the thing with these things. You can't be perfect with this stuff. Sometimes it'll come in, sometimes it'll go out. You're a complete and utter human being, and these things can't be perfect all the time. So don't be hard on yourself about this. What I noticed, Kath, in particular, was when I was tracking it, I noticed the things that were coming into my life that I was tracking was my husband bringing in certain money and giving me certain money and all that kind of stuff. And the total that came in was the amount that I was looking for. So then I got more specific about my intention about, okay, what if I'm the only person bringing this money in? So what happened was I was manifesting and creating the amount of money that I wanted for that month for our household. I wasn't necessarily creating it for me personally. So it really depends on what you want to track and what you want to focus on. But this will give you at least a starting point to start doing it. Now, for all those people, the 341 people who got this email today, I guarantee you around about 3 to 10% of you are actually going to do anything with it. And of those 3 to 10%, you might print it out and you might actually not track anything. You might print it out and give it to somebody else. You might, but my invitation to you guys is if you got this today in your email, at least print it out and write something on it. The action of this is better than the idea of this. Now, you might be nodding and going, this is a great idea. Yeah, I see how this would work. Yeah, positive psychology, reticular activating systems in brains, blah, blah, blah. You might be pulling this whole thing apart as this massive, beautiful idea. Us knowledgeable practitioners who love more knowledge will do that. But if you print it out and actually write something down on it and actually take action, it's going to change something for you. And I don't know what that is for you because every time I've done it, it's created a different change or created a different awareness for me. But if you do it, I promise you there is something in it for you. Christina, that fear is a big thing. I'm about to step out and hire a space, which with no clients could be a huge stretch. Yes, totally, Christina. And the idea that there is no clients out there is an interesting thought, right? And we all know that over 80% of the population have some type of health condition. And it doesn't matter where you are in Australia, there are people that need your help. So there are clients out there. They just don't know that they're your clients yet. So, yes, and it's a big step. And the fear is totally real. I have been there lots of times when we have that change in our practice, especially one that brings us forth to put down money. We're actually investing not only energy and time, we're investing money. Now, we did this when I moved to that space I was telling you about. I had 4 times the amount of space that I'd ever had before, well, 5 times even. And then we did upgrades to that clinic space that cost me $12,000 at the time. I had to go and get a loan from the bank, a business loan. We had to discuss it, but there was all. So I totally hear you. It's a big thing. But the next step that I'm taking you on today, the practicalities side of it, is going to be gold for you, Christina, because it's really easy for us to guess what the numbers will be. And guess that there is no clients and guess that all that stuff. But if we have an idea or a plan, so a planner, if we've got a plan, then we've got a much better chance of succeeding. Now, again, we do this with our clients all the time. Hi, you want to lose weight? Awesome. Here, on average, my clients lose, over the 6 weeks of this detox, my clients lose approximately 3 to 5 kilos, some of them up to 12 kilos. And with this plan, it's very likely you will lose 500 grams a week, and that will get you to this amount. And what you need to do is you need to invest this time, you need to invest this energy, and by the end of the 6 weeks, this is what the result will be. So we'll track it every week for those 6 weeks. Oh, you lost a kilo this week? Wonderful. Oh, you feel twice as much energy on week 2? Awesome. Okay, you're sleeping twice as good by week 3? Fantastic. Oh, you lost another 800 grams? Awesome. Notice how we track all the numbers. The same way that I'm giving you this tracking template, we track all the numbers with our clients in their health. And then by the end of it, they get a result because you've given them the plan from the beginning, then you've tracked it all the way to the end, and they get a result that they have confidence in. Now, we freak out because we don't think we've got confidence in the numbers or the money. But if we have a way of tracking it along the way, and then we've got a plan to work towards, and we don't just hide our head in the sand or pretend it's not happening, just like some of our clients do with their detoxes or cleanses or whatever. They hide their head in the sand. They avoid your email. Or, well, I didn't quite have my smoothie for the past 3 days. Same kind of thing will happen with us and tracking our wealth as they track their health. But over the long term, if you can do it, then you've got a much better chance of succeeding, right? Same as we have with our clients, they've got a much better chance of succeeding. So this is the first step, tracking what you currently do have that's coming on in the present day and following that flow. So thanks for bringing that up, Christina. Totally. Then let me get back to, and I'll share with you the other one. So that was awesome. So money tracking, being in the present moment and watching the flow of money coming in changes the way that we view the world. So we then see the flow of potential money coming in and like innovative things that I didn't notice before. So when I've done this before, like I said to you, Kath, I noticed things about the wealth coming into our household versus the wealth coming into my particular business. So I started tracking it and setting different, very specific intentions around that. Another time, I started to notice where the money was coming in from was specifically from massage clients. This is when I was doing massage. And I was getting exhausted. And I could also see that the massage clients were coming in, but the potential to earn so much more money through naturopathic clients went up. So again, I shifted my intentions and I shifted the way I was then marketing. And then I started to see innovative ways of money coming in, like packages, programs, like being able to sell them as a group of consults instead of just one-offs. So yeah, I can't tell you what's going to shift for you if you actually choose to do the tracker for a month, but there'll be an awareness that kicks in there. Then after you've noticed where the flow of money is coming in or had your other awareness, it's then about planning for the future. Now, this one's a big one. Now, an accountant was at uni, our business, I can't remember the name of the course, the module that we did, the subject that we did, but it was something like business techniques, business acumen or something. And it was so boring from the start. and it was an accountant. And the driest way of explaining things in money terms. And I honestly wish I could tell you that I switched on and that it inspired me, but it didn't. It actually turned me off spreadsheets pretty much for life. And spreadsheets are also not my strength, so I've learnt to delegate them, although I do understand them. So when she started talking about things, and she had a spreadsheet, she didn't give it to us in the terms of naturopathic. She just gave it to us in the terms of a general business. So the spreadsheet that I've given you guys, or the PDF that I've given you guys today, and it came from Tammy at tammyguest.com or hello@tammyguest.com. It didn't come from the original webinar email, by the way, if you're trying to track it down. And it is very specific for a natural health business, and it's one that I started with, and then I was able to hand this information over to a bookkeeper, and I was able to project forwards what I needed to make every quarter to kind of get in line with my big vision for my 12 months. So when the conversations that we've been having in the hub lately are around, but you know, I'm a new grad and I have these big dreams for the next 12 months. When am I actually going to start making money? Unless you've got that dream plotted out at the end of your 12 months, and then you are able to go, okay, halfway through, I'll be trying to get half the amount of that dream done. So say, for instance, I want to make $50,000 to replace my income. That means that about halfway, it'd be great to be making $25,000. That means that about a quarter of the way, I want to be making $12,000, which means in a month, you know, a month and a half from now, I'd love to have made $6,000. So how do I need to do that? So I need to make about $1,000 a week. How can I work $1,000 a week if I'm seeing nobody? If I'm seeing nobody and I double zero, then it's a problem. If I'm seeing one person, I double that. Could I do it? And then you block out. So it's more likely if you're seeing nobody or one person, and if you want to do the doubling game from every quarter to every half to then to the end of the year, chances are you're going to hit around the $25,000 mark that first year rather than 50. But that's not to say that you couldn't diversify and go back on your strengths, your gifts and your talents that you have from before you were a practitioner. So some of my strengths, gifts and talents were around pathology. You know, I was in pathology and cancer research for over a decade. And when I produced the e-course for you guys and a whole bunch of other nuts and herbies, and I sold a couple of hundred of those, I didn't realize that that was actually useful information. Chanel, who we just heard from before, didn't realize that tech stuff that she just took for granted, she just, you know, whacked up a couple of websites and did this stuff just on the side. She didn't realize that that was really useful for her. And that arm of her business is now, you know, an amazing space for her to be able to make money in. And it was the same with me. I didn't realize that that part of my past could actually come into my present and be valuable for somebody. So where are your other values? Where are other things that you had before you were a practitioner, valuable for practitioners, valuable for your clients, valuable to mix and meld with the stuff that you're currently doing as a prackie? So I know a lot of you guys have a background in finance. So how could you meld that in? Some of you have backgrounds in as being other types of practitioners. How can you meld that in? How can you teach? How can you, you know, innovate in a way that you are then being able to, it's not just, I need this many clients, and then by month 3, I need this many clients, and by month 6, I need 10 a week, and then by the end of the year, I need 20 a week, otherwise I won't make my quota. So if there is a deficit at the end, then how can we fill that? Okay, so I need $10,000 extra. So I'm planning, and I've got my $25,000 I can make by the end of the year, but I want $35,000 to replace my part-time income. Okay, great. So I need 10 grand. How can I make 10 grand? What can I do to make 10 grand? Now, Christina, she's got a Bachelor of Performing Arts. I bet she has gifts and talents to explain things, to act, to communicate in ways that lots of people probably would completely shut down in. And if she was to create or monetize a YouTube channel that was explaining health things or explaining the insides of bodies to kids or something else that was in alignment with her, I wonder if she could make her 10 grand a year doing that, you know? So these are all just ideas and bits and pieces that are going through. But if you have a gift or a talent, actually pop it in here. Christina's got her Bachelor of Performing Arts. Who else has got something else other than their naturopathic degree? You might be able to play the guitar. It might not actually be a degree or something. It might be something else. You know, you might have a gift or a talent to bake. What is your other gift or talent? Pop it in the comments. I want to see them. And I want to get creative and help you guys make up an idea that could get you that extra 10 grand a year that you don't think you're capable of right now. That, you know, Chanel only 3 months ago didn't think that the tech thing would work. Now it's a major part of her business, and she's contributing with value to all of us in our profession at the moment. Louise, energy medicine, and I know that you're coming out with an e-course around all of the knowledge that you have, Louise, and I'm super excited about that. Kath, community development. My goodness, when it comes to the community that is our profession, whew, holy dooly, how can you teach others to create that kind of system within their practice or their own community? You've undoubtedly run workshops. You've undoubtedly, you know, been in groups of people that have had to have meetings and things like that. There are some gifts and talents in there too. A visual merchandiser, Kelly, oh my goodness, teaching us all how to create, especially those who have a shop front, how to create the best shop front and how that could change with the seasons, or how we can bring about, who's that, Kelly? I went into Optus the other day. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you a sidetrack story. I went into Optus the other day and to upgrade my phone, and they have this special box that they still had left over from Christmas, and they inside those boxes they had these smaller boxes, and it kind of looked like milk cartons, right? So a whole bunch of milk cartons, and on the front of each of them was a price, and they had little piece of information on each side of the box and a price tag. But essentially, it's a cardboard box that looks like a milk carton, and there was about 9 cardboard box milk cartons there. But as you pick them up, you went, oh, this is a plan, and on this plan I get X, Y, or Z. But because I had it in my hand, and because it gave me the information in dot form, I could then go up to the assistant and go, oh, I'd really like this, or can I have this, but change this. And I was thinking, how could we apply that for our plans, and how could we apply it for our clients? What is it that you already have that you generally give to people? Say it's a tea and a lip balm and a skin thing, and a detox and an initial consult and 3 follow-ups. And how much is that? And could you just line it up? Here's the detox carton. Here's the make my skin glow carton. Here's the get my guts back on track carton. And that's the base plan. Now, the same thing happens in Optus. Here's the base plan, but if you go over the plan with, you know, X amount of gigs of data, then it costs you more money every month. But how could we do that? You know, so Kelly, thank you for reminding me that visual merchandise and the way that we sell things can be innovated. And Kelly, I bet, has epic ideas about that because she's got a lot of experience in it. Nicole, you've got a accounting background. There are so many people who are nuts, herbies, and prackies that have an accounting or bookkeeping background, yet similar to, you know, the plumbers, they don't want to look at their books, they look at everybody else's books. What could you teach us, Nicole, about money? About how we do things, about even interacting with an accountant? I bet there's so many people on this call that are unsure to how to engage an accountant, what they're actually looking for, how to, what is tax in the first place? All of those questions. A little mini e-course might help, Nicole. All right, Christina, Added mine so that I have 7 people, and people are drawn to me due to fertility and children's health and well-being. Ooh, I can't wait to see some of your lovely pictures and little things coming up. Daisy, a chef. A chef. Come on, Daisy. We need pictures. And a regional manager of a health food chain. You are a wealth of knowledge for our profession, let alone your clients. You know, the amount of clients that I have had over my time, and you know, that's 7,000 at my last clinic, that said, but how do I cook that? I don't even know how to use that spice. It's like, it's turmeric. Just add it to this, and this. Oh, but how much do I add? Could I do that with a Thermomix? Like the minuscule of things. And you could change people's lives so easily with that beautiful. And you've got such a wonderful presence. Daisy's in the club, by the way. You've got such a wonderful, genuine presence on camera. Daisy, I feel the need for you to hop into a lovely kitchen and get filmed and share it with everybody. And imagine if that was the income that we could create, and that's the income that we were most worried about not being able to create by just seeing clients. Because in all honesty, seeing clients is the best thing on earth. You get so much back from being in the energy of another person. You get so much for helping people one-on-one. But we all only have X amount of time, 24 hours in a day. And we only have the amount of time that we have in a week to be able to see those clients. And outside of that, there has to be a way to leverage. So we've got lots of value there, but we need to then leverage that value in a different way now if we are going to have the lives that we love as practitioners, and the lives and dreams that we have for our businesses and our families and all the things that we have. We need to be able to diversify in that way. So you guys have so much value from that you can now meld with you being a pracky. If you could just take that little bit of goodness and get some data on it, then we can have a bit of a play. So let's go to screen sharing number 2. There we go. All right. The second one is your planner. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Okay. The planner. So first one, tracker. Second one, planner. Now, the planner, yes, it's got the word budget on it, but it also has the word plan. So this is for the current financial year, and this is a PDF that you got given if you have signed up for this webinar. This planner is natural therapies based, and it covers all of the things that you would usually, that generally a practitioner will get money in for, cash flow in, and generally have money going out for, so cash flow out. And then at the bottom, you've got the balance of it. Now, remember what I said about having a plan for 12 months, because we all have a dream. We all have a vision for where we would like to be. Some of you guys might be trying to replace your income from, say, pharmacy. You might be trying to replace your income from your side job. I call it a sandwich job. It's like the shit in the middle of the sandwich. So you've got your nice piece of bread on one side, then you've got the shit in the middle, and then you've got the sandwich on the other side. And unfortunately, you can't just have beautiful yumminess on both sides. Your shit sandwich job is, every time we're going for something, there is going to be something in the middle there that we're not going to like very much, but it depends on how much you want it as to what you'll put up with that's in the middle. And if you have one of those jobs, you might be thinking about trying to replace that income from it. The way to do that, instead of just dreaming about it, is actually putting some numbers on a page. And if this gives you heart palpitations, you are not alone. The first time I saw one of these, I had the same thing. But just like Chanel shared with us in the first part of this webinar, being empowered by your numbers is the most freedom-filled feeling that I have ever had in my life. And I absolutely love going and visiting my bookkeeper and my accountant every quarter now, because every time they tell me, even if they think it's not the best result, I see it as a stepping stone to be able to do bigger and better. So when it comes to this planner, the idea is essentially, if you're using it as a planner first, what I want you to do is project to the end of, say, this financial year and what you would love to have achieved from a money perspective by the end of the financial year. Now, you might also go right now, I wouldn't have a clue how much money I would like to make. And that's totally cool too. But it's time to look at it. Because if we want to go on the woo-woo side of things, the universe has no idea what to give you if you don't know what to order. Just like if you're at a restaurant, you can't go to the universe, hey, I would like something from the menu. And the universe comes back and gives you like a double beef and bacon burger with a side of ridiculous amounts of chip-laden fries and lard. And you go, oh, well, I didn't really want that. I'm vegan. So you've got to be really specific. Okay, I'd really like a lovely chicken salad with extra avocado, and I'd like it relatively quickly because I've got things to do. And then the universe comes back with a chicken salad. It might not be quite the same as what you wanted, but it's much more in the vicinity than a big double-laden fat burger. Now, dodgy analogy, but what I'm saying is if you can be more specific about what you want and actually get into it, then on the woo-woo side of things, the universe will give it to you. On the science side of things, your reticular activating system needs to know what you're looking for, and then it can find a match for it. So the way in which your brain works is if you are looking for a number, you will see that number. If I tell you right now to look at all the things in your room that are blue, your brain just filters everything out and you'll look at everything that's blue. That's your RAS working, and I'm sure some of you guys have explained this to your clients before. The same thing happens with money and numbers. If you start to recognize the amount of numbers that are in your bank account and it has 2 zeros on the end, then you'll start to go, oh yeah, I've got hundreds. If it generally has thousands on the end, 3 zeros on the end, you go, yep, I'm used to having thousands. Then it's got 4 zeros on the end. So you can see that you're starting to notice things in a way that matches what your brain's been looking for. So it's time to get really real with how much you would like. So it's time to probably talk to partners or other important people in your life as to what's actually going on in your life that you could contribute to, that you want to contribute to. How much just covers the cost? It's called break even. How much covers the cost of running your business? So from a cash out perspective down the bottom, how much are you spending on in any particular month? Now, this is the other thing. This is set up as a month by month thing because insurance, for instance, doesn't just, it always hits at either December or June because that's when our associations are asking for it. So you have to be able to plan for that amount of money during that time. So if you wanted to do that little e-course that we were talking about, you might want to do a little promotion for that in, say, November if your insurance is due in December. So it's a month-by-month thing. It's not an overall thing. But if we're looking at it overall, by the end of the year, we want to make, say, that $25,000 mark so that we can pay all of our outgoings. We might need to pay the rent on the place that we are in. We need to pay for some advertising. We needed to pay for our website being built. We needed to pay for our telephone, and we needed to pay for some dispensary items. And there's ways in which you can notice where you're spending money and how you could save it. So, for instance, vital.ly, where if you are spending lots of money in dispensary, then you can use vital.ly, and instead of spending it all, you're actually bringing it all in up the top in dispensary sales instead of down the bottom. But unless you track it, unless you plan it out, you can't tell where that money's actually going. You're just guessing. Making a guesstimate isn't going to get you to your dream of replacing your current income or the dream of having that new house, that new space for your business, any of those things. So going back to it, your overall thing, you want to be looking at by the end of June 2018, how much money do I need to make? And then backtracking and seeing how much by March you need to be making, and then backtracking to how much you're currently making and see if they match up. If they don't match up, where's the deficit? How much is the deficit? And where could you either make more money or save more money in your business by not having more outgoings? Now, this is the most simplest way of looking at it, and we have a much bigger deep dive in the club. But I wanted you guys to get a little bit more empowered by this than sticking your heads in the sand about it. And I wanted you to use it as a planning tool, not a, oh my goodness, this is where I'm at and I'm not making any money. Because that's not going to be helping either, because that relationship that we were talking about with money starts to go stale. It's a bit like saying to your partner, oh my goodness, I'm just not being fulfilled by our relationship right now. How do you think that relationship's going to go if you're going, no, I'm not talking to you. No, I'm just going to ignore you for a while. No. And then going, well, I'm not fulfilled. So when it comes to the top half, when it comes to cash in, this is the beauty of running your own business. Now, if you are in a job, put your hand up if you're in a job, if you've got one of those sandwich jobs that I was talking about. There is absolutely no shame in this, by the way. Having a sandwich job at a health food shop, at Coles, at, local bowling club, whatever you happen to be doing, just give me a thumbs up and tell me that you've got some other form of income that you're actually getting a wage for. You guys even here at the moment? Yes, no, maybe. So if you are getting a wage on the side, or if you've had a wage in the past, you'll know that there's a cap. They only give you X amount of money, right? There is only, you earn, you go to work for this amount per hour, or you go to work for this amount per week, or it might even be this amount per year. You're on this part-time job and this is the amount, right? So if you have had a wage before, or if you currently have one on the side, it's not like you can go to your boss and go, so can I just get an extra $2 an hour? Can I get an extra $50 an hour? They just don't do that. Whereas in your own business, that's the beauty of being in your own business in Australia. You have the capacity to earn more. You have the capacity for more money to come in. You can create a product. You can create a service. You can set your fees higher. You can charge an extra $2 an hour. You can charge an extra $20 an hour. These things are able to be upped. Whereas in your shit sandwich job, good luck trying to get an extra $20 an hour. Awesome, Katie. I totally get it. So in those moments where you're like, I just really want to go get a job at Coles. And trust me, I've totally been there too. I remember the day specifically that I spoke to my husband. I was crying all afternoon and just going, this money's coming in and this money's going out and it equals zero at the end of the day. And what am I doing it for? And I cried all afternoon, wanted heaps of wine, and then I got onto Seek. And it was probably the first time in, I don't know, quite a few years, but I got onto Seek.com, which is a job search website. And there was a job at a pharmacy, and this is after I'd seen a couple of thousand people, a job at a pharmacy about 2.5 hours away. When my husband got home, I said, it's just not worth it, blah, blah, blah. And he said, okay, go on, apply for the job then. And as soon as I thought, oh my goodness, that's right, go on, apply for that job then. Well, of course I don't want that job. Of course I don't want the job at Target. Of course I don't want the job at, sure, I want the ease that goes with that, but the freedom and the ability to change more people's lives and to live the passion and to be able to exponentially grow my business, even if I wasn't doing it in that moment, that drew me back again. So I totally get it. And if that's not happening to you with regularity at least once a year where you just go, nah, I'm going to chuck it in, then you're not truly in a business that you you care about. It completely comes with it. It's not always going to be roses. But if you can put some of these things into place, you've got much more of a chance of feeling confident in your ability to see and envision things for the future and see where that flow of money comes in to your business, your practice, your life. So, Katie, to be able to do things your way, to be able to not have that cap, to be able to work within the time frames that you want, to be able to have that freedom of being able to meld your passions and your loves outside of your practice, your family life, all those things. Yeah, we get all of that with this. But the shit sandwich about it is that we also get having to run a business. We also get the downside of the roller coaster and the upside of the roller coaster, but that's being human. We forget about it in our beautiful, inspirational kind of jobs that we have, that it's not inspirational all the time. You have to have that hard bit to get to the good bit afterwards. So, yes, Christina, to have time available when you need it for the things that you love. Yes, the things that open up your heart and the reason you exist in the first place. Totally agree. So my invitation with this one, if you are looking at the template, the first one, the tracker, do that. That'll make you feel good and juicy and yummy and excited, because there is so much money going around in the world right now. And if you have all of that yummy money going around in the world, it's coming and flowing into your life as well. If you're watching this on the internet, you are in the top 30% of the world's level of wealth, and you have the capacity of this money. Instead of it flowing around to everywhere else, it flows into your life as well. You just haven't noticed it yet. It's in there. It's hidden in front of your plain sight. So if you're tracking it, awesome. But this is the next step, planning it, because you want to plan how many consultations is it going to take for me to get that $25,000 before the end of this financial year? Can I really see that many people with the 8 hours or the 16 hours worth of consulting time that I do have with my family and every other thing, or my sandwich job? Do I have that amount of time to consider consultations? Could I sell more in the dispensary, or how much could I actually potentially make? If I looked at the real numbers I'm getting from Vitally or somewhere else, what could I actually make? Do I need that extra therapy on the side to make that amount of money? And am I actually making all that money from my massage therapy, my Reiki, my other thing, when I could actually be making it from naturopathic consults and making 1.5 times as much? Do I need an online offering? Can I get my strengths and my talents that are melded with who I am now as a naturopath and be able to offer that in another way? So we're going to look at more online offerings later on this year, and how to quickly and easily put up an e-course and make it available to people. Could I be doing a workshop or a retreat and doing that one-to-many side of things, and how many of those would I need to get that amount of money by the end of the year? Do I need a loan to make up that difference? Could I get it from family, friends, elsewhere, just to get me over, say, the April bit, to be able to start paying it back by June? So if you don't look at these numbers, then you aren't going to have the real data to be able to see how many people you could actually be seeing, and how much deficit you could be actually making from those other gifts and talents you have. And then, of course, there's your hard costs. I talk about this all the time in the hub. You'll notice in some of my my posts, the hard costs are things that you just can't get around. When you are going out and renting a space, rent is a cost. If you are at home and you're creating a home-based business, like Chanel said, she was renting a space straight out of college, and then she moved back to a home space, and then she was able to put that money that she was renting with back into her business. And how does that change when it goes, when you are expanding like Christina is into another space? What are your hard costs, and how much does your cash flow in have to go up by, and can you get creative and innovative to be able to get that by the end of the year, which might line up for, those amazing things that we absolutely love to give to, like our family, our mortgage, our food, our fun, the whole reason that we are living in the first place. So Katie, yes, everyone needs an online offering. Couldn't agree more. You are all full of so much value, and predominantly that value is in your knowledge and wisdom, and being able to share that in this new world of online is, we are living at an amazing time of history to be able to do that. Katie, yes, you've done this spreadsheet multiple times, and it's so worth it, because if you put the numbers in, you'll start to notice that you aren't charging what you're worth, and the amount of time you're actually putting in to your clients. It's very likely, especially if you're charging less than $100 per hour for your naturopathic consultations, yes, I'm talking to you, that you will start to notice where that money is actually going and how you could be making more. Nicole, I had this moment last year and looked at being a rep for a Pracky product company. Yeah. But when I looked at the financial side of it, it wasn't worth it because I could only earn a capped amount. And I knew if I got my shit together, I could earn a whole lot more and also not have to put my child in childcare or after school. It was a really good experience. I totally agree with you, Nicole. Sometimes those breakdown moments, and it feels like a breakdown. Trust me, been there. A breakdown comes before a breakthrough. And sometimes you just have to press that button on Seek and then have your husband say, yeah, go on, apply for it. For me to go, oh, hold on a second. Then I have to work a 9-to-5 job 5 days a week. I don't get to pick up my kids. I don't get to see them at school. There'll be after school care. There'll be, I can't be of value. I can't help people in the way that I do. There'll be that 2.5-hour commute, which is actually a 5-hour commute. And then, hold on a second. Let's not go there. So I hear you, Nicole. Beautiful example. Thank you for sharing that. So, after all of that, we are spectacularly over time, as usual. But I am hopeful that this has given you an insight to feeling a bit more confident as prackies, as newbies, if you're watching this as a newbie, that your goals and your dreams are absolutely achievable as a practitioner. They are. There are just a couple of things that Chanel beautifully brought up. One, we all have fear. We all freak out. We all have breakdown moments. On the other side of that fear, on the other side of those freakouts, is the breakthrough. And that is completely part of being human. You see it with your health clients all the time, and you just have to recognize that you're experiencing that with yourself as a wealth client as well. So on the other side of that thing is the thing that you want. And you just got to go through that yucky bit like a detox to be able to feel really good on the other side. So going through that yucky bit, if these PDFs trigger you, it's to go and lean into the yucky bit because there's something on the other side for you. So go in and do the tracking. If that's the only thing you do, you're going to start noticing that there is a flow of money in the world, and that flow is coming into your life, and you're going to start to have a level of gratitude for it and a different relationship with money that you possibly have never had before. Second one is around if you have gone through that and you are then going into the planning phase and you're worried about what you can or can't make as a practitioner, put the data down on paper and start to recognize what you're charging, what you're worth, what your hard costs are, all of that. Make sure that you actually take action. Because through tracking your income, just like Chanel said, and just like I've experienced, and just like all the 60 people in the club have experienced, tracking your money and not hiding your head in the sand is an entirely different experience. And you can be empowered by your numbers because there is confidence in that data. But if you don't look at the data, then of course you're not going to have confidence in what you can or can't achieve. Lastly, if you have this email in your inbox from hello@TammyGuest or TammyGuest.com, if you have it in there, go in there and print it off. Take action. Don't just sit and watch this like another thing and you go, oh, that's a nice feeling, and then get to the end of next week or next month and have your breakdown moment and go, no, I hate this, Joe, I'm going to back it all in. Get and print the PDF off and use it. Take action. Write on it. It might not be today, but if you print it off, you can use it and start tracking it. And you can start to take action and start to actually get into that relationship, that dance, that celebration with money that you haven't had before. Oh my goodness, Danielle, your story. Gosh, I wish I could get you on here. Danielle has an amazing, Dan's an amazing practitioner who is also in the Bubby mode. And she has an incredible experience with her tracking her money. She wanted to be hiding and head in the sand, just like me. And she's been using this template since October. And you might have seen the graph that I showed on Instagram. She's the one that has like quadrupled the amount of people that she's seeing, the money that's coming in. And she's been really innovative around the way that that money comes in. So she's totally inspiring about the way she's embraced her numbers. And she was really anti it. She was like, I'm not doing that thing. It's horrible. Don't give it to me. And then, another week later, I printed it off, but I don't want to do it. And then she finally came around and started filling it out. And the exact same thing might be happening for you, but just print it off first and then take the little steps. It might take you a month to start filling it out. But once you do and you start to notice things, and I don't know what it is for you that you'll notice, but you'll notice something, and it'll be very different to what you have been ignoring the whole way along. So yes, beautiful. Please take action. My invitation is for you to take action. My intention for you is to be empowered so our entire profession changes this ridiculous paradigm, because the amount of value that we have as a profession, as health givers, carers, practitioners, is billions of dollars worth of value. And, the finance departments of the world can see that health is $1 billion industry and that we are part of that flow of money. It is incredible that we don't see that for ourselves. And this is just the first little step for you to see that you are part of that. And not just the value and heart and love that you give to your clients, but how that is reciprocated through the money that flows into your life, so that you can give the heart and the love to your travel, your family, your dreams, your aspirations, and so that your businesses can get bigger, so that you can help so many more people. Gosh, I hope that for you. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this today and invest in even slightly creating a different awareness and a different relationship with money. I acknowledge you for that, because I'm sure it's really triggering on some level. So I acknowledge you for that. And I will catch you guys next week for Training Thursday again, where we're going to explore a bit more about online offerings, little dive into online offerings. But thank you guys so very much. Well done to all of you who have stuck through it. And thank you guys. Well done. And you're part of the change. Acknowledge that you're part of the change just by being here and listening today. And well done. Love you guys. I will catch you guys later. Have an amazing rest of the week. Bye.